Some people look at you and feel sorry. They see your beady eyes and a soul that is black. It's clear to see you're a pathological liar. And your alibi was a lie, it was all just an act. And that's a fact. When you start moving on it, I know that you're lying.
Yes, yes, that was a Megadeth killing time. How do you like that? That's awesome. Another recommendation for my baby David. That's right, killing time. Ah, such a fucking rock and roll. I love heavy metal. I know. I just love that shit to death. I love it. I love it. It's just, you know what I like about rock, like heavy rock? It's just like, I feel like you can suspend a lot and then focus just, even if you don't hear the lyrics, which most of the time I don't, it's a transformation, almost like a religion, like a religious experience of sort, right? Now, I'm not the type of person that engaged in a lot of metaphysical shit. I just do not. It doesn't do it for me. But with stuff like that, it just put me, and I think it's good for humans. Maybe that's why people religious in a way. It's something that just gives you, and it lifts your spirit. And now you able to talk about shit, right? That's right. Anyway, that's a nice trick to make it the fans out there. I hope you are following me, Monica, Monica Augustine, the villain, the brownie, alright? David's wife, that's me, and the leftist. So I hope you listen to me. Anyway, like I always say, it's Monica, your friend Monica. Now, this morning, if you do follow me on Facebook, you will notice that I shared some pictures I took last night. My husband and I went to Wisconsin, close to Milwaukee. Not quite in Milwaukee, but close to Milwaukee to see a rock show, a dinosaur pull up. And that's the first time we've been out of the outside of our home. Not obviously we run errands and stuff, but like just to go to rock, right? Last time we went out was in New Year's Day. So we went and we rock out. I took a few pictures, and it was so nice to see a friend, Teresa. And I make sure she take a picture with us. I did share that on Facebook. And it's nice. Now, I have to say, because we haven't been out in a while, and I'm a cold bladder, if you haven't noticed me. If you don't know, I am a cold bladder, very, extremely. So I had to adjust. We did not have to wait in line for long, but I was concerned. Because although I have my coat, the pink coat that my husband bought me earlier this year, I just didn't think I'm dressed to be out there. Otherwise, I would have gotten sick or something, because I just don't think I can. Let's go. I can't do it too much this year for whatever reason. I'm just feeling a bit fragile. After all, I'm 50 years old. Anyway, while we were there, I had a chance to talk to my husband briefly. You know, obviously I'm around my husband consistently. And I was just like trying to assess my husband's mood, so to speak. And I picked up, like my husband is doing some thinking with all of this. And you'll know when we get to the family drama. Yeah, so my husband is doing some thinking, I think. Now, he's the type of guy that he's not like me. He does talk about his feelings. But if you're not very astute, if you're not very, don't have intuition, you don't pay close attention to people, or you cannot pick up people stuff, you will miss it very often. But I did pick that up, and I will have to express that a little bit about that after I talk about the what happened in the world. Okay, so what's happening in the world? I have a lot of things happening, and I won't bore you, because I'm sure the mainstream press is doing their thing, promoting the stories that I think are important, which more or less involve white supremacy, capitalism. But I'm not gonna bore you with that. I'm just gonna go with the leftist perspective this morning, because I want people to know a little bit of how us leftists think. Now I went on Twitter this morning to update my Twitter to update my Twitter uh, profile, because now that I created this family drama, is the Augustine family drama. I updated my Twitter. It looks like that. This is me as Monica. Alright, now in my Twitter thing, I have, you'll see that from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That's my name. I mean, I'm Monica, and then I make sure that that's that. Now, why did I do that? I did that because during the Palestine genocide, it was a point, I think, in 2023, 2024. I don't know when did this happen, but these disgusting people, the white degenerates, like I call them. And you know, Elon Musk is a fascist. So he is some disgusting thing that on Twitter. He was contemplating with the notion, I think I'm from Zionist or what have you, that anybody that say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they will be deleted from from Twitter. Well, it pissed off a shitload of people. So everybody did it. Right? Now, nobody no longer did this, but I kept mine. Right? I just want to always remember that, like, these motherfuckers who want to exterminate the indigenous people of Palestine got the audacity to tell the rest of us how we feel about this. And again, if you haven't picked up from my attitude, I cannot be easily bullied. And I'm a type of person who will pay consequences, like delete my shit. Yes, that's right. And that wouldn't be the first time they ever delete my Twitter account. I think this is the longest Twitter account I ever have in my whole life. They have deleted multiple ones before. Now with YouTube, as I have it right now, I don't want to get it deleted, and I'm doing all I can to keep it because I want to keep it for posterity. I don't care about popularity. I never did. That's not my thing. But I do want a record of this story, and I think this story is worthwhile. So that's that. Now, but that's not really why I went on Twitter. I just want to try to look. For whatever reason, Twitter is still good. It still have people with ideas, okay? People I respect, okay? And they're on Twitter because there's nothing else, all right? They're also on Facebook a little bit, but, and I'm starting to see more of that, but Twitter's still the shit. You just can't beat that if you left this, and as far as I'm concerned, you just can't do it. And so I still go to Twitter literally every day and multiple times a day. I don't tweet as much, and when I do tweet, it literally get not any reaction. People just don't care. I don't know why, because my name is from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. So that may put off, people, them like, see, that's it. All right, but that's totally fine. I'm gonna put it though, because I don't care what they think, or they're not gonna control my thinking at any cost. So I don't care what they say. But anyway, I did see a tweet, and this tweet is from this guy, Joe Emmersberger. Now, this guy, he is a true leftist, a correct leftist, like I call him. And I love him so much. He's a white guy, okay? He is a white guy. But he has, like, a name that sounds like Jewish. So everybody thinks he's Jewish. But based on a little bit I got from him, he is not Jewish, though. Even if he is Jewish, I like some Jewish people. But they do have to be correct leftists. Right? Like, I'm not gonna like anybody unless you don't have to be correct leftist, but you do have to, it has to be something about you that is worth my respect. But let's put it that way. But he did tweet something today. There's, and for me, I just like people may think, like some leftists may think like all this drama stuff is such a waste of time. Sometimes I feel like he's just, I'm like, why even bother? He will criticize the people would assume are good people, right? Like, for example, people who work with the so-called Human Rights Watch, or people who works like institution that people think are good institution, like the Nobel Prize and shit like that. And he make it a point to actually criticize them, right? And he knows that he's not gonna get traction like me because we correct leftists, we are quote unquote tankies. But he still do it, right? He still do it because at some point it's gonna be somebody out there who's so confused and outraged, or is trying to find answers, and ultimately may wind up on him, and then it will help the elevation I'm trying to portray here in terms of primal, remove from primal to up there. And he does that, and I think that's a good thing. All right. Now, this gentleman here, he quote tweeted this guy named Ken Roth. Ken Roth is a well known as a human rights, whatever the fuck. But the human rights thing actually is the thing, okay? Isn't a scam. It's white supremacy garbage. Let's just get rid of the fucking trash, all right? And let's just be honest about what's happening here. The bottom line is there's no human right. There's white people's rights. That's what it is, right? White people's right is not human rights. Humans is every human. This bitch, human rights shit, they're not protecting the humans, okay? Now, why would I say that? Anyway, I'm gonna read you a quote from this Ken Ross, okay? This bitch is a disgusting, but I won't be boring you too much. I'm just gonna read his tweet, and then I'm gonna read a tweet of Joe who replied to him. He said, quote, difficult living conditions in Cuba helped spur mass protests in 2021, but harsh government crackdown squashed the demonstration without changing policy. Cuban financial collapse has fueled an extraordinary exodus. About 2.75 flee, leaving 8.25 million, close quote. That's what this piece of garbage say. Now, Cuba problems, like I told you in one of my episodes, is not Cuba's fault at all. Not at all. Cuba's problem is that degenerates and European nations and this bitch called United States prevent Cuba from living their life. They just don't want to leave them the fuck alone. That's what it is, okay? But this bitch telling us about human rights. Mind you, he is a genocide apologist, okay? So let me just say, I'm not feeling this motherfucking wrath at all. But let's go to Joe, because I'm about to get angry black woman really quick, and I'm trying to make it nicer for our family-friendly play here. This is what Joe said. Quote, Ken Roth has spent decades mostly as head of the Human Rights Watch, inciting the genocidal U.S. dictatorship to attack Cuba. The Nazist seize Trump is applying to Cuba today is largely the doing of propagandists like Roth and the Western human rights industry in mass media, close quote. Okay, I hope you got that. If you follow me on Twitter, I retweeted him. So that's what it is, okay? This is the shit, okay? This is the politics. Let's be real, okay? Let's just be real and stop fucking with these disgusting people. It's just gross, okay? These people, they don't care about human rights. They care about white people's rights, okay? The people like my mother-in-law, so she can have that grocery bag and take it to the hospital, okay? That's who this man care about. Not the human rights of Cuban or anybody outside of this shit, not even everybody in this country. Because again, if you haven't noticed from my commentary, we have internal colonization in this country. And that's just how it is. So it's just a few demographic, the favorite, like I say, on an episode with my red shirt, all right? But everybody else, it's just a waste. But that's what's happening in the world today. And that brings me to the play. Okay, so I just made a brief commentary about my husband, my husband attitude. My husband is a quiet guy, and he is a nice guy. He's the kind of guy that is not emotional. He really isn't. But I do think he's a contemplative, if that's a word. I don't know what that is. I don't know, contemplative. It's a guy who, he's he's contemplative, so to speak. And I did ask him yesterday. I said, honey, what do you think? Be real with me. And mind you, it's in a dark in a club. We're about to see the show, and he was just, you know, it's just like he didn't say much, but he said I think he said like he doesn't care or like it's just like I don't know if I don't think he's confused. It's just like he just yeah, I think he's just feeling a bit strange with this whole thing. Right, but that's that. Right. Now if you pay attention with um my episode yesterday, I did notice that episode was not watched on Facebook. Hi, and it was watch some on YouTube, but not a lot. I'm asking you to watch those shows. I want you to watch those shows. I think they can help you, or it can help some people. And share with other people if you can. If you watch it, you'll see. I was talking about the shadow, right? And I spoke. I'm not gonna talk about the shadow today. I won't do that. But I did talk about the shadow, and I also talk about my husband's children. And I also talked about the principal character. Now the principal character, she's coming back on the show today. You can tell that up to this point I only alluded to the shadow, but I didn't really spell out who this woman was. I call him a woman because that was what she was, and I just told you how how I have connected with this woman, and I have had to get to know her, especially in the last couple of years. Before that, I try to avoid it if I could, just to make my husband happy. Yeah, but I did because of what her daughter did, and literally, I just couldn't take it anymore. I needed to confront my demons, so to speak, and I did, and I'm very grateful to how I have come to understand everything. Right, so I spoke about her, but if you listen to that episode yesterday, you will notice that I was trying to imply a few things, right? I was trying to see, I guess I was trying to come with a solution that could have resolved the issue. And one of the things I did, if you did watch that episode, towards the end, I told you about my father. Let's put it that way. And I told you, like, hey, yes, I didn't have quote unquote nuclear family. My dad, for what I understand, he had like 15 children. That's what my father had his whole life. Now I don't know where all these 15 children are. I do know some of them. It's me and my sister, and then one other kid that when my mom was just having trouble with him, he had another kid there. And then she got that Dora. Okay, if you know the episodes. Okay, so that's 4. And then she had a long-term girlfriend. Her name is also Pilar. She's an African woman. And she gave him 3 children. Those children, I knew them. And then the children outside of that, I didn't really know. But when I did go to Africa when my father died, there was a daughter of his that I never knew. She was about 35 years old at the time. I can't stand her. I nearly fucking hate her with passion. She made a big fuss trying to humiliate my dad. He's dead. Needless to say, I was upset, okay? And everybody in the family knew it. I made it known, okay? Fuck you, okay? Like, seriously, fuck you, okay? That's basically what, I'm sorry for my language, but that's how I felt. Listen, if you have issue, take it as well. Leave my dad alone. That was my attitude. And I made it known. And I would never like her for that bullshit. And I have it on tape anyway. And I would never like that girl, ever. The audacity, right? Because again, if you pick up something for me, I don't romanticize life. I don't. I'm not gonna romanticize life. This world is imperfect, extremely imperfect. It's unfair, right? So let's give the individual grace. Let's put it that way. Trying to force shit that is undoable in a world like this, to me, is naive, is stupid, and I'm not gonna indulge into white supremacy or whatever they think is normal. I won't do it. So I did say that. And but I did say that. And I love my dad. I miss him to death. Even though before he died, I didn't see him for 30 years. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so that's just how I view life, okay? And because I'm that, if you noticed in the episode yesterday and through the episode, how I have a reservation with my husband daughter Lacey, because she really does remind me of my so-called sister, that woman. That because those romantic shit, I can't have it. Okay, I'm not here to romanticize. You know, if you have issues, right, you can just say, but don't try to make other people like, pay the price for your bullshit. That's how I am. Okay, I just won't. I ain't having it. That's the kind of thing I'm just won't. I have almost no tolerance for. So that and you maybe pick that up. So that's that. And then I also said that I was just thinking with you to say like, okay, these people that we are told are horrible individuals. They're just the bad people out here. And what is good is these normal people who have nuclear families and they live in better houses and better everything about them is just nice and cute, right? Those are the good people. The reason they live like that is because, quote unquote, they're good people. I don't agree, okay? I just do not. Because you living like that, I'm suspecting somebody else had to pay a price for your lifestyle, so to speak, right? So, and that brings me to like episode 9. Okay, so if you remember in episode 9, I have the yellow shirt. I was introducing my mother-in-law grocery bag. Okay, she had a grocery bag. Okay, my argument was like, okay, this woman literally thought, okay, let's buy this bag. She did. She bought that bag, and maybe she didn't think this way, but I don't know. With her, I mean, I'm starting to think this is maybe a thing. But if it's not, just forgive me. I'm gonna go with this. So she bought this bag, okay, and when I saw the bag, it's not like, for example, I have DJ's mask bag here, and I use that bag typically to go to gym. So I put my towel, my swimming suit, my clothing and stuff is in there. And when I'm ready to go to the gym, I pick it up and I go to the gym. That's what I use. Other people may use different kind of gym bag, but that's my thing. So I do have that. Alright, so and if you look the back, it's kind of messy. I went around the house and take pictures of the groceries bags, and I did a little video just to make fun of it because it's kind of funny to me. And I'll both share on my Instagram and Facebook. I did that. So I think that was one of the bags. And if you see the bag, it's messed up. Now the bag that my mother-in-law, that Christine was taking for my mother-in-law that had her things, it looked like new. It was a new bag. So I'm thinking this woman, she was strategic on how this gonna play out. And I suspect she knew that she's gonna do what she did. She made that decision. And and the way I am, I might pick it up. I don't know if that's true. If it's not, it doesn't matter. I'm going with this, like I say. Alright. So yeah, so that's the thing. She had that bag. And she had that thing. And when Christine was gone, she had that. I also mentioned that episode that Christine had the papers, right? The power and attorney papers. Again, Christine is the power and attorney. right? And I was speculating that my name, Monica Augustine, I'm on those papers. Now I don't know if for sure, and I can. It's not like I can get the what do you call the Freedom of Information Act, so they order to see those papers. Say, hey, what you had in there? I can't do that. It's not permissible because that's kind of private, right? Now in the future, though, in the future generation will be able to do that, but not yet. Okay, so I can't do that, and but if I am, that's kind of like, that's my type of shit. That's the kind of legacy I want her to leave to me. I hope she did. And I really, really hope she did, because that's the thing. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the things. And I do want that kind of legacy, because that's like, that's gravy. That's golden to me. That's awesome to me. And if she didn't, it don't matter, because hey, I'm making this video just because of that. I like it. So that's what happened to that episode. Alright, so now that's episode 9. It's a good episode. You should watch it. I really like it. I like it a whole lot. You can go watch that episode. I say a lot of things in that episode. But I'm going to leave that episode aside. So I'm telling you the papers and the grocery bag, the land of the free, the home of the brave, symbol of the American stuff. Then I'm going to bring you to episode 1. Now, in the episode 1 and 2, I'm still loving my mother-in-law. Although she have done things, obviously, that makes me feel bad, if I can be honest. Don't make me feel bad. It made me feel like, okay, what's going on here? This woman, what's up with this? Seriously, I'm not like, what's going on? And then on episode that I had to read, I say I know what she's here, and it has everything to do with on the red episode, red shirt. I said that she's doing this because she's operating. Her maneuvering is based not from human relation, what's best for my husband, the individual, but what's best for in terms of how capitalist relations supposed to operate within this capitalist system. That's what's driving her. That's what really is driving her. Okay, that's what she's really after. Her thing is this: I want the things that come from me to my son to my grandkids. That's it. That's where we going with this. Me to my son to my grandkids. Okay. All right. Now, if you go back to episode 1 and 2, though, I'm still sympathetic with her. And I'm very critical of Christine. I have lowered my criticism of Christine. And I'm starting to feel almost bad for her, and to be honest. And even though I think that she still failed me in some way, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do to repair if I did any harm. I don't think I did any harm, because I think I was within my rights, and I operate this way with people. I try not to be unreasonable, but I am gonna stand up with what's right in a way, and I'm gonna be like, if you do something to me that I think is violate principles, some dignity involved, I just don't know how to hold back. I'm gonna go for it, and I think I went after her, because I really thought that she took it upon herself, when in fact she really was not. It wasn't her call. That was her mother. The principal character, Jean, my mother-in-law. But anyway, on the episode 1, though, is what I want to bring your attention. I did something. I criticized Christine, but I also criticized a little bit the minor character, okay? And I did that. And then I complimentary Henry, my mother-in-law, common-law husband, and my mother-in-law. And that's what I did in that episode. Now, how can I say this? So here. Even though Henry and I, sometimes we hit heads, and I don't think He may not like me, so to speak, but the way I see it is that Henry, at least from my perspective, Henry was the way he deal with me is that he obviously doesn't like me. He would have preferred if my husband was with some white women who go along with all this bullshit or stuff. It may be the case, but at the same time, I feel like he do sympathize with me a little bit. Okay, I won't push this too far, and I'll tell you why later. But I want to pick up on my mother-in-law here. This woman. Oh, first of all, if you notice, I haven't been telling you the update. How she's doing now, what have you. I'm not gonna do that. Fuck it. That's not my problem. Yeah, my husband will call her if he wants to, and if he does, he's gonna let me know and whatever is transpire. Seriously, like I'm not gonna engage with that. I'm just like, hey, not my problem. In fact, I am gonna have my husband conversation how we gonna do it with hospital things for foreseeable future. I know they have this little group chat on the side where they'll let me know, but I am gonna talk to him about it how we gonna avoid this situation in the future. Let's put it that way. And I'm serious. So for me, I feel this way. My husband is not a doctor and stuff. He is not a bound attorney, so if she's not well and she's at a hospital, my thing is this: let the doctors, the hospital, the minor character, the bound attorney or whoever deal with that. Not our problem, though. That's just what I'm thinking with this, and that's how it's gonna be. Because again, I'm demanding something that they violated with my husband, and I think I picked up that kind of move for my husband last night. And if you know something about me, my number one role, aside from being a villain, the brownie, the leftist, is being David's wife. And if my husband feels some kind of way about stuff, I want to respect my husband's feelings here. So that's that. But I do want to go back to my mother-in-law. Now, my mother-in-law, as you can see, she has a common law husband. Right? He has this. Now, the common law husband Henry is, in that episode you will see how I sympathize with him. I'm like, this man is selfless. This man loves this woman, and I know it. He adores this woman. She does anything. She would die for this woman, in my estimation. He just loves the shit out of her, and it shows. And the kids, all the grandkids, they call him grandpa. He is the father-in-law, if you know. He is the common-law husband, not a husband. That means, if you know how to follow, that means that was not the biological grandfather, but that's the grandpa though. Okay, the biological fine, well, okay, it's fine. I'm sure the DNA is doing that. But the grandpa is Henry, and he does the shit. He loves the shit out of his grandkids. Right, and that's what I like to think. I like that. I really like that. The kids, Aiden, Aiden needs something. Okay, then I'll go take it for you. Henry will put in a car. And then he comes by and Aiden would say something like, I never see these two girls do appreciate the grandfather effort. He would say, hey, thank you, Grandpa. That's why I love those three kids so much. The dumb children. They have class, they have manners, consideration, all of that. The kind of shit I take very happily. Anyway, that I won't bore you with that. But that just that's him. That's Henry. He's just there for this woman. Whole thing, literally. Now, I don't know too much about Henry beyond the relationship with my mother-in-law, but that's it though. He is the common law husband with this woman, my mother-in-law. Now, in my estimation, this woman been with this man, I say over 30 years, okay? Over 30 years. Right? And I think she has spent most of her life with this man, if not a half of her years, close to a half, pretty close, okay? But a very long time, right? Now, why would this woman, this man that adore you and everything, why didn't you not marry this person instead of to be in your modern common law, right? Why would you do that? That's my question, and that's an important question at that, because if this was not about capital relations, right? In my opinion, that's the only thing can facilitate that, right? Now she is Catholic, and I know it. She go to church, right? She go to church. That's not what church does. Church don't say, "Hey, having a common law husband." That's not what the Christian church say. It say, "Get married," right? That's what it say. But she doesn't do that though. She does not. Okay. This man who adore her and do everything for her, who would die for her, is not her real husband. Okay. He is her common law husband. All right. Okay. That's why I'm getting with this. Now, when I come to Henry that day at the waiting room, okay, at the waiting room, Henry came after Christine has told me the devastating news that, hey, Monica, the brownie, the villain, the leftist, you not going to the ICU unit. And I made it known that I wasn't happy. And I, like I said, proverbially, let it have it. They came back. And if you remember, I told you he came back. And she was saying, well, Monica, Jean is dying. And I said, no, Henry, Jean is not dying. And I knew she won't die. I was advocating for her. I knew she would keep being alive here. And at the time, I still feel like she didn't do this shit, right? So I was still treating her the way you're supposed to treat your mother-in-law or think about people you care about, right? So I was treating her like that. And then, and then he trying to tell me for me to sympathize with Christine. He did that. And I just feel like when he did that, he gave me a little bit of grace. He was just trying to calm me down, if I'm being honest. And he did complain about something I posted on Twitter, on Facebook or something, that he thought, okay. Oh, so in one of my episodes that's not here on the family drama, it was on my Facebook, I said that day when I got into an argument with the minor character, also known as Tom, and all of them more or less, because they all gang on me. I said that they did not give us the correct time, and we went late and stuff. And then he was just trying to say that that's not true, trying to contradict me and stuff. But it wasn't really my fault that I meant that stuff. I'll go by my husband. My husband is the one who keep track of times when we in and out and stuff. But I thought that's what happened because that's what my husband was complaining about. But nevertheless, he was just trying to say that was wrong for me, that I said that. And I take my apologies for that because I didn't mean to do that. It was just based on what my husband was communicating to me. But nevertheless, he trying to persuade me, trying to, calm me down. I don't know though if he was trying to do things that still just trying to make me feel a little better. And I did notice that. Alright, but now going back to my mother-in-law though. Alright, going back to my mother-in-law. How can I say this? Oh God. Okay, let's see. She obviously took that back to the grocery. Yeah, because that's the line of the free, right? She made a decision. She knew I'm gonna be there because I'm wherever my husband is. And she knew that. And she knew that she's gonna insult me, literally insult me. Right? And now, I didn't have to be in an ICU unit. Right? That's not a thing for me because I don't like being in the hospital at all. Last time I was in a hospital is when I was giving birth. That's not my thing. I don't like it. And but I was there for my husband. Um, I think she knew. And honestly, I don't trust her at this point. None, zero. I just don't trust her. I trust her a little, but not much. I don't want her having interaction with my husband in the IC unit where I don't hear her. I think that's what's happening here with me. I'm just not having it. I'm just not feeling good about it. Although, as you can see, I reluctantly let my husband go, and I did that because I knew there's not gonna be too much talking here, so it's okay. My husband can go, okay? Because now this woman, I actually, and then at that time I still trust her because I thought it was Christine who did that. Right? But at the same time, though, even though Christine is the one who made that decision, I just didn't want her saying anything to my husband where I cannot hear or anything like that. Right? Right. So that's that. Now, why would I be this extreme with this woman? Because again, I am feeling really, really disturbed by her. All right. I'm just gonna be the honest because if you remember on the same episode, I complained about the fact that the minor character, okay, I, my husband and I, three of us are about the same age, and we did something that can stand our life, and he said he couldn't do it. He don't want to do it because the consideration what he can left for his kids, right? I have said that. That's disgusting. I spoke about it. I don't like it. And another thing he did, he's complaining about the fact that the wife that she had, that he's responsible to give her whatever they had. I like a half at least. He doesn't like that because he wanna leave it to his fucking kids. I don't like it. We better give her shit. That's how I see it. Yeah. And then he called my husband trying to get us to involve with that shit because she's not concerned about my husband and me. He's concerned about these two fucking kids. I don't like it. And then my mother-in-law. And then why would it be all this? It all comes from her. It all comes from her. And why would I say that? Okay, well this woman obviously uh been with this common law for a long time. And why she didn't, like my mom, for example. My mom been married 2 times, right? That's it. My mom is wife right now, right? She only been married 1 time. The husband went away. She still liked this thing of having a man in a house, but she didn't marry him. But I know why. It's because there's capital relations, okay? That's what it is. And then her thing is this. Her thing is this. I don't know what she has, nor do I care. Like, seriously, she can throw it in the garbage for all I care. She has stuff, right? And in her estimation, he would have, if something would happen to her, she would like to give it to my husband, for example, and then because my husband is gonna be responsible, right? And then when time comes, it will go to these fucking kids, right? But right now there's an obstacle. It's me. So now she's gonna throw everything away. That's what that conversation was about. Of, are you afraid to be alone, so to speak? Right? That's what it was about. Are you afraid to be alone, so to speak? So now she wanted to manipulate my husband with that, right? She did, and I know it. But she just like me, she got an intuition. And she knew that if she go there, my husband was gonna be like, I'm done, let's go. That's it, right? And she switched because that's how she operates. She's passive aggressive. She's funny, in other words, right? So she didn't do that, which is fine. But it didn't go away. Her feelings didn't go away. Now, he has this guy, Henry, her husband-in-law. I personally think so highly of him. He loves this woman. And he go along with whatever she has to do, because that's the thing. And that's what I have a problem with, right? And it's like, seriously, lady, get a clue, right? That's how I feel about this. Okay, so then, now consider all that I just said. All right, consider what I just said. That's probably percolating in my husband's mind. It does, right? It's kind of fucked up though, if you think about it. That you will go through that stream, right? Now, we don't care. I don't know what she has. No, we care. Like, seriously, we do that. We are fine. We literally fine. My husband and I are good for life. Like, literally. We good for life. Good for life. This is not an interest for us. We're not. None, zero. No. We good for life. Unless some shit happen to this country, burn everything to the ground. But even that, based on the way me and my husband are ethos, we work with whatever is the system we have here. We not counting on nothing like that from her, right? But there's something going on here though that they don't understand. The relationship as it's supposed to be operating is being violated. They're feeling like their feelings are hurt, right? When in fact, all I'm trying to do is trying to ask them to elevate their thinking. In the case of the man, the character, I'm telling him this. Listen, get off your horse, so to speak, okay? It's not, they say it's not about me. Literally, it's not about you, okay? You don't get to dictate where people live, how they live, who's there. You don't get to dictate even the crime rate, okay? You want to live a non-crime world when in fact you profit from crime, right? Right? I don't know what my mother-in-law has or how she has it, but to the extent that she does have, let's say, money, it's because evil things are being done, like genocide, war, and that profit her, okay? Right? Like, it's like, don't give me this thing that's the line of the free. The line of the free at the expense of unfree for the millions of people on earth. Okay? Now, I don't mean to be this way and just make them rub me the wrong way. But I will tell you this. If my husband feel bad about things, you damn right I'm gonna get down right with it. Now, I don't want to talk to me and my husband ever again. That's totally fine. It's kind of messed up, though. It's kind of messed up. As for these girls, if they want to leave them something, go give it to them. We don't care. We don't. We do not care. We do not care. But based on my husband thinking, though, my husband believes these girls need to learn how to fend for themselves. That's what he would like. They don't like to listen to him because they are adults now and they should figure things and so on. But if they do respect my husband, if they any sort of respect they have left for him, instead of trying to give them things, maybe teach them morals and values and how to be a quote-unquote good citizen in a civilized manner, okay? And not just give them things because you have them and you want to give it to them. Therefore, you're going to do things like having a common law, which to me, it rubbed me the wrong way. Lady, you think you're smart, but you're not. I can see through your BS. And you wanted to impose that shit on my husband, and we ain't having it. My husband and I, we want to have a normal life. Not strange things on capital relations. We want to have a romantic life, a loving life, and a normal life. a life that we go to rock concert, vacation, how have you, enjoy our life. You know, we visit my daughters, we just have a good time. My kids not resenting me because I may not leave them shit. My kids are just happy with me, right? My kids just love my husband. But, not because he's gonna give them things, because he is my husband. It's that sort of thing, right? And that the kind of elevated thinking I want you guys to have, right? And if you have any sense, especially my mother-in-law here, I think that's what she does to my husband. She hope they can work things out. Because although, if you remember one of the episode, I think I don't know, episode 4, I said that when my husband texted Christine back, when Christine finally communicated to my husband that Jean is the one who made that decision, I wasn't there. I was over here recording my video. My husband texted back, and my husband told her that she was a liar. Right? That's what she said. I think it hurt Christine's feelings, and she thought that was me, not my husband. But it was my husband. It was. Because for even, just like I couldn't believe it, I think my husband did not want to believe that either. Right? But I think he now believe it, and he's reconsidering a lot of things in his head. I do. I think my son is reconsidering a lot of things he said. But what was I gonna say with this? Okay, so my husband didn't believe that, but now my husband believes that, and for my husband, she now see that how things really are, not what he thought they could be or how they are, but how they really are, right? And then that's when she said, well, I hope we can work things out or something like that. I don't know what she could do because, again, she's so deep on this thing. She's so deep into it that I don't know. It doesn't matter. But one thing I do know though, that's up to her. I don't care. So you can do whatever you want. One thing I do know is I am gonna make sure with my husband, right, on how we're gonna proceed with this. And I will never allow a situation that we have in a hospital to ever happen again. I won't, right? So I will have to communicate with my husband about this because, again, if she is gonna insult me, right? If she thinks she can insult me or insult my husband or whatever she's trying to accomplish here, I will not give her the pleasure. It will not even touch me. It's not even gonna come anywhere near me. Right? As for the American flag that she took to the hospital, right? I want her to know this. That's her freedom that she's talking about, and only her freedom that allow her that. But that freedom, they have a cost. And it was people that look like me, brown people, black people they think they trash, they don't want to be anywhere near. People like my dad, right? People they see in WGN, they are quote unquote criminals, right? People they don't like. That's who gave them that fucking freedom, right? Like a lot of right wing of the Republican Party say, freedom is not free. Right? It really is not free. We, people call her, pay for it. And I want her to know that. I really do. I really have. Now, she never responded to my text. Right? And maybe she never want to text me again. I don't care. I really don't. I really don't. I do want to thank her because she gave me this beautiful play. And it's a play that's going to keep going. I don't know if it's going to stop. I know it's going to keep going. But I did want to say that. That your arrangement with common laws, making phone call to your son, to be trying to intervene to my husband, because you got grandkids that cost somebody else that you don't even think about, right? Never inquire about or what have you. All the stuff you think you have, you should always try to find out why you have them. How did they come here, right? Like be a little, what I would call, move from in primal, elevate the primal up. I just want her to know this. I do. I do. And that's how I'm going to leave you today. And now we're going to go to Dr. Parenti. Now, yesterday we read Cultural Decay. And today we're going to read a section that Dr. Parenti labeled as, I think, women and children. Let's see when I paste. Yeah, women and children less. So let's start. The overthrow of communism has brought a sharp increase in gender inequality. The new constitution adopted in Russia eliminates provisions that guarantee women the right to pay maternity leave, job security during the pregnancy, prenatal care, and affordable daycare centers. Without the formal communist stipulation that women get at least 1/3 of the seats in any legislation, the female political representation has dropped to as low as 5% in some countries. In all communist countries, about 90% of the women had jobs in what was a full unemployment economy. Today, women compose over 2/3 of the unemployment. Those who do work are being channeled into low pay, unskilled position. Women are being driven from the profession in disproportionate numbers and are advised against getting professional training. More than 30% of unemployed females are skilled workers and professionals who previously earned higher salaries than the national norms. The loss of maternity benefits and child care services has created a still greater obstacle to female employment. And I know that personally, but let's keep going. Throughout the Eastern European, even though it was hard for me, as you know, daycare is super expensive. I always work, almost all my children, they always had to be watched by other people, and I had to work. As soon as my kid turned 3 months, I had to go to work, and it was more or less like that the whole time. Women of color, we just cannot afford not working. We do whatever it takes to work, to go. We had to go to work, and you just do jobs where you trying to, we do either part-time. Like, for example, when my husband met me, and Layla and Isabella was still very young, I had to work part-time at Home Depot, and I only worked like 20 hours a week. I mean, I was barely getting by, but I just couldn't afford to, work more, because then my kids won't have no place to be. So I had to go pick them up from school and a train. This long process from Evanston, where I was working, all the way to Lincoln Park, where my kids were going to school in Chicago. And so I have very, very little money. And thankfully, during the year you get what they call earned income in your taxes. So that earned income is what used to supplement my income for the whole year. Now, the right wingers who want us to pull ourselves by the food stamp, they don't like these benefits that could help families, especially families like me. And that's one of them. And I do think they keep that in place because it help their favorite people, which I'm glad. And that's why I want benefits that are universal, because if they feel like those benefits will help their favorite people, as a result, it's gonna help us, right? Now, sometimes they do things like redliners and stuff because this, after all, is disgusting racist country, and they hate people of color with passion. But sometimes it do percolate that, and that's why. Whereas black folks say, well, we need to make sure that the black folk is good because they're good, everybody else will be good. I also think that if something that would benefit white folk, it can also come to, not always, and I'm gonna be careful with this. Like I want things that are universal because if they are universal, it's gonna be hard to undo. For example, as much as they are destroying the Social Security, right, and they are destroying Medicare, they literally are. Uh, they have not completely destroyed, and I think the reason why it survived this long is because it does help disproportionately white folk, right? It does. For example, my husband here, he had a shadow, therefore he was given help by the state because he had a shadow. Whereas I don't get anything because my husband is in prison. They don't care about our issues, they care about their issues. But if I were to be in the same situation, say my husband, maybe I would have gotten a little benefit, right? Now, I'm not saying we should change spots, but I'm just saying that that's how it works, right? And that's just how it works. But anyway, let's keep going here. Um, Okay, throughout the Eastern European nations, the legal, financial, and psychological independence that women enjoy under socialism has been undermined. Divorce, abortion, and birth controls are more difficult to obtain. Release from the quote social yoke close quote, the autonomous region of the Indonesia decriminalized polygamy and made it legal for women to be sold into marriages. You hear that? My God. You see that? Let's keep going. And then they're gonna tell us they care about women. They don't care about women. They don't care about people, these folks. They don't. They carve out a population that will represent like mother-in-law so they can stay on this shit, and then they're trying to give us the rest of us illusion they are the good people and we the bad. That's what they do. It's a scam. And I think they don't like me because I can see through the fucking scam. I'm not buying it, right? And they don't like that because they really don't like people who can get through the scam. Gonna see with the scam, right? And I can expose the contradiction. They just don't like that. They think we stupid and dumb, and that's why we have the problems we have. When in fact we actually aren't, right? We really smart. We know what's going on, right? Right now, U.S. is doing a lot of barbaric, disgusting thing. You don't see white folks out here demanding U.S. stop doing that shit because that's what they want. They want U.S. to steal shit so they can have shit in their bank accounts. That's what it is. And so I'm sorry, I can't trust your grocery bag with the American flag, the line of the free, when you in fact what you're doing is you have thugs are stealing other people's shit so you can have. I can respect you for that. You know, I'm not buying it, more or less. Anyway, let me stop it because I'm a little bit heated this morning. One thing, you can insult me, but if you make my husband feel bad, you will get to see another side of me. So let me keep going. Instances of sexual harassment and violence against women have increased sharply. In Russia, the number of women murdered annually, primarily by husbands and boyfriends, skyrocketed from 530,000 to 15,000 in the first 3 years of the free market paradise. In 1994, an additional 57,000 women were seriously injured in such assault. These official figures understate the level of violence. The Communist Party commitments committees that used to intervene in cases of domestic abuse no longer exist. Women also are being recruited in unprecedented numbers for the boomerang sex industry that caters to foreign and domestic businessmen unable to find employment in professions for which they originally were trained. Many highly educated Russian and Eastern European women go abroad to work as prostitutes. Women are not the only ones being channeled into the sex market. As reported in the Newsweek on September 2, 1996, quote, Prague and the Budapest now rival Bangkok and Manila as hubs for the collection of children to serve visiting pedophiles. Last year, one investigator was stunned to find stacks of children pornography in reception rooms of the Estonia Parliament and its social welfare department. Quote, free love is regarded as one of the new quote unquote freedoms which the market economy can offer, close quote. She wrote, quote, simultaneously, sex and the market economy has also become a profitable commodity. In some cases, quote, children are kidnapped and held like slave, close quote, says Thomas Katubu, a specialist with the Council of Europe. Quote, this happening more and more. It is an organized crime, close quote. And now close the quote there from Newsweek. Unbelievable. That's, oh God, so bad, okay? That's capitalism here. Let's finish up. Life conditions for children have deteriorated greatly throughout the ex-communist world. Free summer camps have been closed down. School lunches, once free or low price, are now too costly for many people, which is children. Hungry children constitute a serious school problem. Instead of attending classes, children can be found hawking, drinking, or begging in the streets. Juvenile crime is booming along with the juvenile prostitution, while funds for youth rehabilitation servicing dwindle. And that was reported from Los Angeles Times on July 15, 1994. Whew, that's too much. Okay, I'll leave it there for today. You hear that? It's just terrible. Terrible what happened to this region, the Eastern European people. It's been horrible since the overthrow of the USSR. It's just been that bad. It's terrible. And that's what capitalism is. That's what this country is all about. That's why they have 1,000, right? 1,000 bases. And we need to, this shit has to go. Let's put it that way. I can't stand it. You know, I can't. Right now, they are, because they have the right-wing fascists, the real thing, the gross, and they don't even have the slightly, whatever that is, the Democrats represent. It's like terrible. It's terrible. So I just hope ultimately it backfire. Now, before we play the last song, I'd like you to do me a favor. Watch my stuff on YouTube. My handle there is auger_m. It's AUGER_m. If you do watch me on Facebook, do that please, so I know that somebody is watching with me and I'm not talking to myself here. But I do want you, if you take just a second to I will, after I do that, I usually give it a while and I will share my YouTube with the same video. My YouTube on YouTube, I don't do it like I will put the section to the children, women and children, but and I give Dr. Parenti credit because I read this part. But then on YouTube, it's not gonna say that. It's gonna say family drama, the number episode. I think this episode is number 20, I think. That's the 20th episode. And so I labeled that because there's a family drama at the beginning. When I first started the drama, it was really little. Now, majority of the video is the drama and a little bit of reading at the end. But at the beginning, it was more reading than the drama because it started in episode 7. I discovered I need to narrate the story because it just spoke with me. These people spoke to me on. It's just like they give me their story based on my politics, right? That's what it is. Based my life experience, based on the kind of things, the passion of my life, which is to make a world a better place, right? It's just to have a sympathetic world, which is to have children like this who have values worthwhile and who have respect, and don't do silly things like hate black folk, right? Or hate black children, or hate poor people like the family they call quote unquote white trash. It really did spoke to me, and if I'm being honest, my husband would have wanted me not do this, but he have allowed me to do this because one thing he did tell me, he said, Monica, when my father died, I felt like I want to talk about it, right? He did tell me that, my husband did. And the way he connected with me, right? I think my husband know I need to talk about these things because, hey, it's not my fault. You decided to disrespect my husband at the hospital unit. Now you did it. Now I had to deal with this. I know that was your right. Yes, it is. But I have a right to my feelings here, though. That's what I want to point out. My feelings and how I feel about this. Now I got to air this out. And although the one video my husband haven't allowed me to share, I think he ultimately would let me, but I'm just gonna give him some time. He ultimately, I don't really need to do that because it's already on Facebook, right? On YouTube. It's on YouTube. You can see I have a gray shirt on. It's on YouTube. You can watch it there if you want to. It's for a while I had to keep it off Facebook for the most part, but it is on YouTube on my Auger_M. And if you want to watch the videos there, you can watch all my videos. They are there. Alright, that's it. So let's go with the song. I don't know what song should we go with today. Let's see. Alright, let's just go back to Manifesto with Victor Jara. Okay, let's do that. Alright, let's see.
Scribe is how you stop explaining the same thing over and over at work. Watch this. It'll change your life.
And free Palestine.
Yo no canto por cantar, ni por tener buena voz. Canto porque la guitarra tiene sentido y razón. Tiene corazón de tierra y alas de palomita. Es como el agua bendita, santigua glorias y penas. Aquí se encajó mi canto, como dijera Violeta. Guitarra trabajadora con olor a primavera. cosa que se parezca. Mi canto es de los andamios para alcanzar las estrellas. Que el canto tiene sentido cuando palpiten las venas del que morirá cantando las verdades verdaderas, no las lisonjas fugaces ni las famas extranjeras, sino el canto de una lonja hasta el fondo de la tierra. Ahí donde llega todo y donde todo comienza, canto que ha sido valiente, siempre será canción nueva. Siempre será canción nueva. Siempre será canción nueva.